and I'm really grateful and super happy to be here. I attended the last Tiny Talks, and I was just blown away by the citizen community and all the support that I was seeing happening in the room. And I was just blown away, so I decided to approach Grenfell Ministries and ask if I can have a chance to talk. So again, my name is Emelyn. Right now my title is Intake and Support Worker. I work for an organization in Brampton called Friends and Advocates, PEAL. What we do is provide social rehabilitation services to people in the community that happen to be isolated due to a mental health concern. So, how did I end up in social services? So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I was born in Lima, Peru, back in '78, wonderful place. I come from a family of, my mom has 12 siblings, so all the siblings are married and have at least 3 kids each, and those kids have other kids, so right now I've lost count of how many family members I have. But however, my childhood was very interesting. I always had family events to go to. There was always a marriage. There was always somebody having babies, baby showers, birthdays, you name it. And I always had the opportunity to play with my cousins and have a great time. However, within that period of time, between ages 3 and 11 years old, I was sexually abused. I was sexually abused by 4 different men. So, these were 2 uncles, 1 neighbor, and my own grandfather. At the age of 5, my father decided to come to Canada to find a better employment and find a better future for his family. When he left my mother with 5 of us, and she was a single mother who couldn't financially take care of us. So she took my 3 sisters and they went to live with their father, and myself and my younger brother went to live with my grandparents. So at that time I felt really alone, I felt abandoned, and I really couldn't talk about what had happened to me to my grandmother because she was extremely religious, and in her world anything regarding sex was blasphemy. So I had to endure living there for all those years. However, at the age of 10 years old, I decided I couldn't carry that pain anymore. I couldn't carry it on my shoulders, and I had to speak up. So I told my mother that my grandfather had been abusing me, and I had been abused in the past. My mother believed me. However, my grandmother thought that I was just making things up because maybe I was just mentally disturbed. So I was put on medication for 1 whole year, gained a lot of weight, had my grades declining in school. And this is where my father took action finally, when he saw that I was just going downhill as a child at 11 years old. And he said, that's it, you're coming to Canada. To me, that was a dream. Canada, they had snow, there was North America, all the bands that I liked lived in North America. I was just ecstatic. My family was gonna be together, it was a brand new start for me. I was just on top of everything. But when I came here, I realized I didn't have any friends. I didn't speak the language. I didn't understand the school system. I didn't understand the culture. And what the hell were people eating? What are hot dogs? What's bacon? Oh my God, okay? So I was extremely confused. And at home, because my father and mother were separated for a long time, they tried to make it work, but unfortunately it was a very toxic environment. So I watched my father hit my mom and send her flying through a closet. This is when my mom decided to leave. So 2 weeks later, she came to get us, took us in the middle of the night. My father didn't know. And my father called me that day, begging and pleading for me to come back. This is the man that had been waiting for years to save me. This is the man the only man I trusted in my life to care for me. But I had to think at 11 years old, I couldn't do that. I had to stay with my mother. So while I was with my mom, I went through years of depression, multiple suicide attempts. I ended up in and out of the hospital. I ended up having an abortion. It was very, very difficult. I didn't know how to fit in. I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, major depression, and anxiety. But, lucky for me, I found the love of my life in 2006. Ended up having 2 wonderful girls, and ended enduring 7 years of psychological abuse, physical abuse. My house burned down. Essentially, I was back in square one. However, when I left in 2013, I took myself to the hospital. I ended up going to adult late treatment program, took CBT, and I found so much support in the community. I realized that I'm not alone. I realized we're all in this together. The level of suffering may vary, but we all have some internal suffering of something. So I decided to take this the support worker course at Sheridan College, and then I landed a practicum position at the job where I'm at. So now what I do is provide psychosocial education. I support others manage their mental health, and I think what I learned from all this experience is if we want to heal, we have to ask ourselves those important questions. If I love myself, what would I do? What would I do to care for my own being? Ask yourself those questions. And at the end of the day, you're going to find those questions are hard to answer. Therefore, the help that you need is in the community, is in those that care for you. And thank you so much for listening. And as I forgot your name, I'm so
That's
sorry.
okay, I did that with you, Rebecca.
Rebecca, as Rebecca said, I have some of my art on sale in the back. You can come and ask any questions later, and thank you so much for the opportunity.